Hey guys, what's going on? Steven back again. So, since The Last of Us Part 2 has been released, the Templin Institute put out a new video called Pittsburgh Quarantine Zone, The Last of Us Atlas. Let's take a look. I just restarted playing the first one. I need to finish it. I think I'm almost done with it.
Carriers of the cordyceps brain infection first arrived in the United States of America during the autumn of 2013. By the end of the year, many of the nation's cities had been quarantined, a desperate attempt to protect the remaining uninfected population. Today, these cities represent the last vestiges of the United States, small pockets of civilization surrounded by a vast and hostile wilderness. The Pittsburgh Quarantine Zone is not one of them. As martial law was declared across the country and the Federal Disaster Response Agency took control of local governments, Pittsburgh was designated a military-controlled quarantine zone. Movement in or out of the city was strictly regulated and eventually blocked altogether. Surrounding suburbs and districts were carpet-bombed in an ultimately futile attempt to kill the ever-increasing number of infected and establish buffer zones around the city. Surviving elements of the Pennsylvania National Guard and other disparate personnel from the United States military became the highest authority within the quarantine zone. As the situation outside the city deteriorated, they employed ever more oppressive methods to contain and subdue the healthy civilian population. Freedom of assembly was erased, and summary executions replaced due process. For without the supplies necessary to test for infection, suspected individuals were shot on sight. When outside supplies stopped coming, the situation in the Pittsburgh quarantine zone grew untenable.
Just like in the first game.
Without sufficient rations, civilians and military personnel alike grew restless and volatile. The Fireflies, a growing militia opposed to military oppression, saw in Pittsburgh a chance to overthrow a tyrannical regime and spurred the local population to action. But the revolution they incited quickly grew beyond their control, spiraling into 14 months of cruelty and violence.
Wow.
Hundreds were gunned down. Soldiers were doused in gasoline and set alight. Mob rule replaced martial law.
Wow.
Lacking the resolve to stay and fight, military personnel abandoned the city in droves. Those who remained awaited orders and help from their superiors in Atlanta, but when their last line of communications was severed, they too were overwhelmed and massacred. This uprising, however, merely replaced one form of tyrannical rule with another. The most cunning and brutal members of the rebellion had achieved through their triumph a place of prominence, becoming the new leaders of the quarantine zone. They rejected and turned on the Fireflies, who in their eyes had done nothing to contribute to the success of the revolt. The decline of the Pittsburgh quarantine zone into unrestrained savagery came quickly. Those deemed not to have contributed enough in the fight against the military were killed or banished. The first in a line of scapegoats and show trials. The highest law in the zone was made clear when a group of teenagers murdered a family of refugees that had taken shelter in Pittsburgh. During a public trial, it was declared they had acted in the best interest of the group, and all should follow their example. Those who refused were killed.
Whoa.
In the years since, Pittsburgh has become a law in the shape of a city. Any wanderer who gazes at its skyline will see the familiar sights of overgrown ruins, toppled skyscrapers, forgotten storehouses, and treasure troves that might be brimming with forgotten rations or overlooked supplies.
Yep.
If desperate enough to enter, they will walk past abandoned cars and rusted wrecks, never noticing the many eyes watching them from the towers above. When the time is right, when the wanderer is lost in a maze of ruined buildings, they will be approached by a man, seemingly wounded, pleading for help. And then, the hunt will begin.
In Atlas, the Templin Institute investigates the most storied places from across alternate worlds.
Oh, I guess that's it.
If you've enjoyed this video and would like to join the
Okay, so there we go. There is the Pittsburgh quarantine zone. Just as expected, very brutal, very violent place. You know, hey, what do you expect? I mean, something like that ever happened. Pretty sure that's how it's always gonna go down, you know. Military, pockets of, you know, groups or rebel groups, things like that, you know, always gonna pop up. Just very interesting. But yeah, I remember that part in the game. I'm way past that though, you know, because I think this is where you had to go into that, you know, weave around into the tents, and then over here was the, what was it? I don't think it was a library. I don't know, it was a building right over here. I think this is it that you had to go into and stuff like that, and then sneak out the back. So many good memories from the game. This is making me sad. All right, I'm gonna end this here. This is really sad and depressing. All right. Well, anyways, there we go. There it is, Pittsburgh quarantine zone, The Last of Us Atlas from the Templin Institute. Really cool. I like getting all this information, stuff like that, on, you know, certain areas and stuff like that. I think this is the only video they've done and stuff like that on The Last of Us. So, but either way, it was still pretty cool. You know, learning about all the pockets of resistance and the military takeover, and, you know, the dictatorships and all that, you know, stuff that you expect would happen. And then of course, you know, Mother Earth, Mother Nature taken back, you know, what is hers, and the skyscrapers, you know, collapsing or already collapsed, and vines and weeds and stuff like that, you know, weaving up everything, and, you know, just like any other post-apocalyptic world. So anyways, there we go. Awesome video from the Templin Institute. I love checking out their videos. I've been doing a lot of the 40K ones, which I need to finish. Hopefully I'll get to the next one pretty soon. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Are you getting The Last of Us Part 2? Let me know. I know I am. Gotta go pick mine up soon. Kinda don't want to. Kinda do. Let me know. Let me know if you guys are picking it up or not. I'll probably, I don't know, maybe I'll do a stream. Who knows? So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the thumbs up button. That'd be awesome. Remember, feel free to subscribe to my channel. Follow me on social media. Links are in the description box below. And, you know, if there's any other videos you want me to check out, you know, any Last of Us Part 2 videos you want me to check out, I'm sure there's going to be a bunch. Certain reaction videos, you know, I'm sure there's going to be compilations of things from Part 2. I'm sure that will be out. People reacting to it. So who knows? Maybe I'll react to a compilation video of people reacting to certain scenes in the game. Who knows? That'd be interesting. But anyways, other than that, stick around. More videos are on the way, and I'll see you guys next time.